So we saw an excellent feature film this
Uh,
weekend.
are you sure?
No,
What did we see this weekend, Max?
Pacific Rim, Uprising,
Yeah, we did.
War Ready, War Ready.
I don't want to join along in that song.
Uh,
This this movie
so much to say about such a feature.
this movie pains me. It physically pains
See,
me.
that's the thing. I actually liked it quite a bit.
Did-
I enjoyed myself because I was laughing so much.
There was there was parts where I'd giggle throughout it, but nothing in the actual movie that made me laugh. It was just how dumb the movie was and how bad it was.
Well, because of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, just every time Charlie Day was on screen, it made me laugh.
Yeah.
And all the action is just so stupid and ridiculous. It's just this movie is what Power Rangers should have been,
Uh,
because like Power Rangers tried to be like grounded and like dark with like Megazords and a giant monster when it should have
Yeah.
just been this, where it's just like robots doing gymnastics and punching aliens.
uh, the this movie it could have done a lot less with all the human stuff. Like
Yeah,
like I think I said this in one of our previous episodes. If it was just completely giant robots fighting with monsters, then I'd love it. But
I
it
don't think it like laid that heavy on the human stuff though.
like the entire first hour of it is just all human stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just boring and
Well, they had the
dumb.
part where the girl like escapes the junkyard,
Oh.
and they broke it up with a lot of action stuff.
It was all right.
But let's talk about the story.
The
Let's get
story.
into a proper review. So, Pacific Rim Uprising
Yeah.
follows the son of something Pentecost.
Idris
from-
Elba.
Yeah, Idris Elba from the first Pacific Rim.
Yeah, who I completely forgot was in the first movie.
He gave a speech and then he died.
Yeah.
And so this is his son, and he grew up without his dad to watch over him, and he was like a failed robot academy
Yeah.
cadet.
Was he failed though? I thought he just quit. Cause remember they said he had like a lot of records and stuff,
Yeah,
and then he quit.
I guess. I don't really remember
I
any
don't
of the
know.
actual story of the movie, but yeah, so it's him and then a bunch of other trainees have to team up to fight a new evil monster.
A new evil
'Cause
monster.
It's been like 10 years with no monsters, and now they're back.
Yeah, for some reason.
Mm-hmm. And there's also Robot 9/11, where a giant Jaeger comes to the city and destroys everything.
For
And then they also destroy everything trying to fight it.
yeah, the entire city just gets destroyed, and which is, I mean, that's fun. That's fun. Seeing that kind of stuff. It's like Godzilla, and like I used to love all the old Godzilla movies and
Yeah.
stuff. And those were, for the most part, it was just Godzilla wrecking up stuff, and they
Yeah.
didn't really focus on human too much. But this movie, I didn't care about anybody in the entire movie. There wasn't a single person who was like, I like you.
I thought the junkyard girl was like the only like actual character.
But I didn't like her either.
Very,
I can barely even remember anybody in this movie either.
yeah, I think junkyard girl was like the only.
Like,
Her acting wasn't good.
yeah.
But like at least her character was sort of interesting because she would like dig in scraps and build her own
Yeah,
Jaeger.
like,
That was kind of cool.
I get her, like, her, I guess, motivation and stuff. But, like you said, the acting was bad. And I didn't really care about her. She was just another kind of, like, whiny kid in one of these movies.
Yeah,
Like in Transformers
she's
5.
better than Transformers 5.
She
girl,
is.
though.
But it just reminds me of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like they have this whole group of like young next generation pilots, and they're all like, I liked how like they're all terrible, but they kind of knew that because they barely like use them except for action scenes.
Yeah.
So that was like really weird writing. And then Scott Eastwood is like, I don't know why, but he's like the brown noser now and like
Yeah.
everything because he played basically the same exact character in Fate of the Furious.
Did he?
Yeah. And I don't know if I've seen him than anything else.
Yeah, this
but
is.
it just seems like if there's a big blockbuster movie with Scott Eastwood now, he's just gonna be like the no having fun. We have to follow the rules and be heroes.
Yeah, I actually, I've never seen him in anything before, and I didn't actually realize that was Scott Eastwood.
Yeah.
Until afterwards, and
well, he looks just like his dad.
I just thought he looked like a generic, like, 20-year-old actor guy that they, one of those like generic guys.
He looks like Clint.
That I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention.
I think it's just like how he has his hair all like done up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was large portions of this movie where I just completely lost. Like I completely toned out for like a solid 30 minutes through the middle of the movie, where I almost fell asleep.
I never got bored. Like it's just like you go from a really horribly directed scene of just like bad dialogue and just like stuff that's funny, and then you go to like ridiculous over the top CG action that's also just like what's happening, and it's so fast paced because they don't take time to like establish or focus on anything. It's just like, oh, here this happens, we have to have a story beat here. And they just like slapped it together. So that's why it's like I never got bored. So like I think this is better than like Power Rangers or like Transformers 5. Like it's a higher ranking shitty movie than other shitty movies.
I had a more enjoyable time watching Transformers because just how much we shit on it. Because
we watched it like at home.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw
like
it.
A group of 5 people.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't think
in the theater it was not fun.
Yeah, I could see that. But with Pacific Rim, I don't really think it has like this. It's not stupid bad enough like Transformers is, where I wouldn't be able to sit down with a group of friends and like really, really make fun of it because a lot of it was just like boring.
It doesn't have any like Pacific Rim doesn't have any gross out humor. Like none of the robots are peeing on people or like humping someone's leg. So
which is appreciated.
Yeah, like I'd be happier if this became a franchise and like kids are going to see this than Transformers.
Yeah.
Although they are rebooting it, so who knows what Transformers will become. They should get this guy, whoever directed this, to be the first Transformers director.
You won't be able to tell whatever's going on in the entire movie.
Which, like, speaking of directing, this is one of the most horribly directed movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like, the opening scene, I don't get this as much at home, but, like, in the theater, if there's, like, a director that, like, has weird cuts, it's always really noticeable because the screen's so big.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like I was going to have an aneurysm in the opening junkyard scene.
Oh, when they're going through that fallen
Jaeger. Yeah, they're like crawling through this big downed Jaeger, and John Boyega like tried to lead these
like
gangsters,
or something,
to get parts, and then someone else had the part he was there to recover or something. But like every time they talk, someone wouldn't even have their sentence finished, and it would like go back and forth like 3 times.
Yeah.
And then like when people are talking, it doesn't look like there's any attempt to like frame it where like you have some like dimension to the shot. It's like, oh, everyone's here. Just start recording.
And when they first got into that old Jaeger, there was one shot where it looked a lot like the scene from Aliens when they're walking down that hallway in the base. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it looked like that, and I was like, oh wow, are they actually gonna like do some homages to some movies? And then I was like, oh no, it's just a shitty shot.
Yeah.
They also, it turns out, spoilers for the beginning of the movie, it turns out that the person who had the part was the little girl, but she was like, had like a cloak on and stuff, and was like running around, and like immediately it's like, oh, they're gonna pull that it's a little girl gag when he finds her, and they do.
And the dialogue too is really cliche.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know if I just got used to it or if it just toned down. Like the beginning, like they get cornered by like an official Jaeger that's trying to arrest them, and he's like, "You can't surrender." And then she's like, "That's what they think." And like the robot shoots like smoke canisters, and she hides, and all the dialogue is just like action movie generic.
Now that I think about it, now that I actually remember that scene, I did enjoy the big Jaeger that was chasing around because it just seemed like a inconvenienced dad, where he's like, "Oh, you guys need to calm down."
Yeah, because they're just in like this little like 20-foot tall robot
Yeah.
when the police one is like 100-foot
Yeah.
tall or something.
I did slightly enjoy that scene.
The CGI was pretty good
There
for
was
the
like
most part.
there was certain shots in the CGI scenes. Like there'd be like 4 or 5 frames where it looked really, really good,
Yeah.
and then it immediately like turned into garbage.
Like, turned to blur, action blur.
Yeah.
I also noticed like all of the CG scenes are like when there's actual like direction happening, because I'm pretty sure the VFX team was like, well, this is how we have to move the camera to show this, and the director's like, oh, okay. It's like anytime there's actual camera work, it looks bad.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where they do like the like getting ready montage, and it's playing the theme from the first movie, but it's like remixed. Yeah. But like the way the camera works, it like spins around and then it like fast forwards and zooms at people.
Yeah, and it's really weird looking.
Cut really fast as you got closer.
It was really weird scene.
Yeah, I don't think this director. I think this is like his first movie. I don't know.
It probably is. It wouldn't surprise me.
But it made its earnings back opening weekend, or its budget back opening weekend. So because minor spoiler, at the end of the movie, they tease Pacific Rim 2 is going to happen.
Pacific Rim 3.
Pacific Rim 3 is going to happen. So...
Oh, I just looked at the movie. I'd like to point out that it has a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Critics or audience?
I don't know. Let's see.
I feel like as a kid, I would like this movie quite a bit.
I could slightly agree with that. 45 for critics and 57 for audience.
I am proud to be part of that 57. Because yeah, it's all bad, but none of it is like offensively bad. There's no like weird agendas being pushed. There's no robots humping people's legs. There's no like obnoxious. I don't think there's any obnoxious product placement or anything.
No, it wasn't too bad.
So it's like it feels like a studio movie that's just incompetently made, but not like a movie that's solely driven by the studio to just sell stuff and be a product.
I can get with that.
It's like you took the first one and just turned it into like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
And I was speaking of that, I will say I like this better than Thor Ragnarok.
I don't know. There was like with Thor Ragnarok, I did very much enjoy Korg.
Yeah.
And that Korg was enough to make me like that more than this movie. Even though I hated the rest of Thor.
Yeah. I think Black Panther was definitely like a better movie objectively, but I enjoyed myself watching this way more than Black Panther. It's like I'd just hear Charlie Day say something and I'd start laughing, and then like the other characters would just say something like generic, like it came right out of like a list of just things that are said in the movie, and then it would cut to like action where they're like making a ball of cars with a gravity whip and throwing out a giant monster.
There was a lot of that kind of.
I was constantly laughing the entire movie. Like it felt like a comedy, honestly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but not in a good way.
For me, it was in a great way.
There was a lot of parts where I just look at the movie and kind of just.
I never had that. I'm just like, yes, more. It's like that Super Bowl ad where they teased the Danny DeVito M&M's ad, and he's just floating in the chocolate pool, and he starts rolling around and getting all disgusting. That was like me and the shittiness of everything. It's just like, oh, yes.
Speaking of Danny DeVito, let's talk about Charlie Day.
Yeah. Well, let's save him for spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Before we get to spoilers, though, like, just talking about Charlie Day without spoilers.
Yeah.
He's just funny. Like, even when he's trying to be serious, it just makes it funnier.
Because he is trying to be serious in a couple scenes in this movie, and it's just goofy. It's so funny. Because his voice is so high pitched, and it just doesn't fit his character.
Yeah, he has to deliver this one like really shocking line, and it just sounds like something he'd say in like Always Sunny when he's high on paint or something.
They should have just let him control this movie. Imagine what would happen.
A Danny DeVito mech.
He's that little, the short
Little
one that turns
trash
into a
one.
ball.
He's made of trash.
Yes.
I'm the trash bot. John Boyega is terrible.
He is really bad.
I actually, he was one of the few things I liked about Last Jedi. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
But this, like, I think they let him kind of like freestyle some of his jokes and humor because he totally breaks like the pacing and the like the consistency of the dialogue whenever he like starts being funny.
Yeah.
He could be like, my father was in the war. But you know, I'm like super handsome and I'm like, I got a better jaw than my dad.
Yeah.
And I'm so cool.
Yeah, it's really weird. And there'll be like a kind of somber scene, and he's like making fun of Clint Eastwood's son, and it just comes off really weird because it's supposed to be somber, but he's just like, oh, he's so handsome, and he's all this stuff, and it's just like, oh, you don't need to do that.
I don't understand how you can grow up with Clint Eastwood as your dad and end up being in so many shit movies.
What else has he been in?
I know, like, big budget stuff. He's done this and Fate of the Furious.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure at the end of Fate of the Furious, they're like, oh, you're in the family now.
Oh.
So he'll probably be in the next one.
Oh.
But then he's also, like, he was in some, like, straight-to-DVD Western that looks horrible.
Oh.
And I think he's in a bunch of other straight-to-DVD movies.
Oh.
And, what was the other one? There's something. I think he was in like one of the Triple X sequel or something. So like, yeah, I don't know if he just chooses these terrible scripts or if he just wants something that he doesn't have to try.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. And he like just looks like what you would want an action star to be.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe Marvel will pick him up, but it'll probably be DC.
Oh yeah, it probably will.
You look like a Robin.
Oh, they're gonna do that. Oh no.
Or he's constantly just like, Batman told us the rules. You can't break the rules.
No, they should hire Clint Eastwood to be Batman, and he could be Robin.
Oh God. He's literally like the same character in Fate of the Furious though. Like he just constantly gets shit on by all the other characters, and he literally gets bullied. Like he's this jacked, handsome man, and everyone just treats him like shit and then a nerd.
Oh, that reminds me. They also did that cliche thing where the girl falls on top of the guy in the action scene.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, even though like hundreds of people are dying.
Romantic interest for like no reason because it's not a major like subplot, and there were like several times where I'm like, isn't there a love interest? Like where did she go? And then she'll just be thrown in somewhere.
There's a lot of the movie. I feel like there's another like hour and a half that was cut out.
No, I feel like
much stuff that seems missing.
It just feels like they're like, this happens in movies, put that here. This happens in movies, set up that for later, and then they just like quickly pay it off.
Yeah.
If they didn't like actually want it in the movie.
Subplot with the little girl and like the other cadets, and like the Russian girl didn't like her.
Yeah.
And they had only like 2 scenes with that, but it felt like it was gonna build up to like they're gonna have to work together or something.
It's like they had that lined up and like, I don't like this. Just more robots. I thought, like, a lot of the robot fights were really stupid, but some of it was kind of cool. Like when Gypsy Avenger fights the evil robot, like in the Ark, and they got their laser swords out, and it's just like...
It sounded like a more cartoony Transformers. Whenever all the sound effects and stuff.
All the action was just like cartoony. They like tell what's going on a little bit more coherently.
Sometimes, yeah.
The new Kaiju looked pretty good. Monsters?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, then there's like Cyborg Kaiju robot.
Yeah, which looked a lot like the aliens from Halo, the Covenant.
Oh yeah.
Because they had like the little like mandibles underneath.
The same like leg shapes and stuff. Yeah.
They're just copying
Halo fans. Go see this movie.
No, don't see this movie.
Actually, go see Ready Player One next week, which we're gonna go see and review.
I don't. Why? Why are we like 2 weeks of just awful movies in a row? It's gonna be great.
I know for a fact that I'm gonna end up liking this more than Ready Player One.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like Black Friday. If this is like $6, I'm buying it. It's gonna go in my shit collection.
I'd also like to point out the director. of this movie, Stephen S. D. Knight. I think he made. It looks like he made some episodes of Spartacus.
He did an episode of Daredevil, I heard.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. But I think the most shocking thing is he wants to make a Moon Knight show.
No! Not Moon Knight, why? That's the one character I've been wanting them to do. But like that one you actually have to be serious. That doesn't work with cheese. Why?
See, Max, this is what you get for liking this movie. You're
Well,
funding his journey to
maybe
Moon
I'll
Knight.
like his complete destruction of one of my favorite Marvel heroes. Another thing, there was a part where they reunite Charlie Day with the scientist from the first movie, and I was like, this actually genuinely feels like a real scene. Like I was actually starting to enjoy like hearing them talk and like their conversation, and
that was nice.
And like Charlie he is like part of this company now, so he's like a big shot and he's too good for the other scientists.
Yeah. And he has like the weird sunglasses.
There's also a great like rip-off scene of the Winter Soldier where it's Charlie and the guy with the cane and they're in this elevator surrounded by goons and they have to beat him up.
Yeah, and Charlie can barely do it. He's just like trying to push the gun away from the guy.
With the cane just goes batshit and just starts beating everyone. I love that.
Yeah, I enjoyed everything with Charlie Day. Most of the stuff with Charlie Day.
Mm-hmm. There's one gag I hated where like the robot gets knocked down and its fist drags out and it bumps a car because they did that same gag in the first one.
Did they?
Where it was funnier in the first one because Gypsy Danger like punches through this building and as his fist slows down he just comes up to this office desk and then like it has the Newton's balls and they bounce.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
There's something else I wanted to say. Yeah, there was a lot of weird like that like the car gag just felt so out of place.
Yeah, because it's in the middle of this big like climactic, dramatic battle.
They also because they went to there was the part in Sydney, in Australia, where they're doing like the drone stuff. What was the point of that other like the bad guy robot that came out of the water? Like what was the actual point of him being there? Did they because
I thought that was just the bad guys like revealing their hand.
But what was the point though? I didn't understand that. Like while I was watching the movie,
it was to get everyone war ready.
Like while I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, whatever. This doesn't make sense, but I'm still watching it. I didn't think about it. But after the movie ended, I was like, wait a minute. Why was that? Why was he even there?
I also love how this, like, it sets up all these really obvious things that are going to pay off later, and it just works perfectly. And then they just have all these, like, really great cliche moments that it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just was funny.
Like, yeah, when they first go to Sydney, like, there's a big pan shot, and there's these two gigantic machine gun things on the harbor.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen with those. Yeah.
Yeah, because this isn't a spoiler because they show it in the trailer, but, like, the one scientist is like, oh, I'm working on this blueprint for a jetpack for the mechs. And I'm like, oh, so later on they're going to have jetpacks, and they're all flying around. And I'm like, this is just great.
I would not say great.
It's just like, this is just expected. It was... I got exactly what I thought I was going to get with this movie, honestly.
I didn't know what I was going to get.
I had hope that it would be a little better because Guillermo del Toro's a producer.
Oh, is
he? I'm pretty sure he just smacked together a team and didn't really care, or they didn't give him enough time. I think it was like, this is my baby and you're not letting me do anything with it, so I just don't give a shit. Just do whatever.
You want to get in spoilers?
Well, we should probably wrap up if anyone's listening who wants to see it. I say if you like giant robots and giant monsters and you just want to eat a snack and just watch explosions and bad dialogue and cringe and
yeah.
If you like bad movies, you'll probably love this because this is one of my favorite terrible blockbusters. Like up before The King was a Battleship, the Hasbro movie, because it just lazily takes all this stuff from Transformers. They do like the generic build up. There's like a scene with like they have to get all the old Navy guys to use the old battleship to fight the aliens, and it's playing AC/DC, and it's just all just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like my favorite terrible movie, but I think Pacific Rim 2 is better.
It beat it?
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate
it's
Battleship,
definitely better than all those like Hasbro toy reboot.
I can agree with that.
I'd say it's better than the new Power Rangers too.
Is it?
Like this is adult Power Ranger fans. I think will like this because I don't know how, but Power Rangers still has like a huge adult community, but the show progressively gets more attention deficit, just nonsense.
Oh.
Because a couple years ago, they added like the newest show on Netflix, and I made it about like 5 minutes into it because I hadn't seen any Power Rangers or anything in years. I'm like, I wonder what they're doing these days, and it's just incoherent nonsense. So like, this is like way toned down from Power Rangers, but it meets like all that wacky action and aliens and wacky characters.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I can agree with like, if you want to see like goofy action stuff, it's a decent watch. And I can't think of any other movie like this that I would recommend more, but I also don't want to recommend this movie. All right, spoilers.
Spoiler ready.
Spoiler ready. All right, so let's start with Charlie Day banging a brain. A kaiju brain.
Yeah, he comes home to his apartment and they just have this scene where he keeps talking and he's like, "Hey, honey, I'm home. Had a pretty shit day at work. Everybody's being mean to me." And then like he finally goes to his bedroom and there's just this giant kaiju brain in a tank.
That was the one scene that really made me laugh. It was just so dumb.
And it's playing like one of the like Hollywood romantic. It was I Want to Know What Love Is. And he puts on the like headgear to blink with it, and he just starts orgasming.
Yeah, he just leans back in a chair and just is like. Now I want to talk about that really quick too, because earlier on in the movie when he meets up again with the Kane guy in the lab. He's like, "Hey, why don't you come over and meet Annie?" Or like he asks her if he wants to come over to meet his wife, basically.
Oh yeah.
What if he said yeah? I don't understand what the point of that was.
You'll never do a brain.
Because Charlie Day's entire plan would have failed then. Because
later on he's all shocked. I don't know. I think he knew that guy was buried in his work, and
I don't know. Do you think he really thought about it that much?
I don't think the writers thought about it that much. It'd be great if he just genuinely wanted his friend to meet his brain wife. I also like how fans of Always Sunny, this is the closest we will get to a Nightman movie.
Yeah, it is.
Charlie's evil.
Yeah.
And even gets an evil voice.
Which is amazing because it's still like high pitched and squeaky.
The spirit of the night came to him in the night and filled him with the spirit of the night.
Yeah, because the entire movie, because everything else in the movie, it's clearly what like this is setting up this. Mm-hmm. They made it seem like it was clearly setting up like the drone like CEO lady to be the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
And then they switch it on us.
It's Charlie. Subverted our expectations. Oh yeah, I like this better than The Last Jedi too. 100%.
I could maybe agree with that.
There's never a preachy scene where they try to free owl, cat, horses, and then leave slave children in their pens.
Yeah, there's no dumb like agendas pushed through this movie, which is refreshing.
And I really didn't think it was that terrible of a follow-up to Pacific Rim. Like, I don't think they bastardized it like a lot of Hollywood sequels do, like after they get rid of the original director. Because like they take all the like lore and world stuff and they kind of evolve it a little. Like it's not great, but it at least kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
they're training new pilots and they figured out if you do the mental handshake at a younger age, you'll be a better pilot.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff where I'm like, wow, they actually thought some things out.
Yeah, it's like it you can tell it is like a couple years later in the movie. It actually makes sense, like the world's advancing
Yeah.
in their universe. Um, but and it's not like I don't know, like I didn't really like the first Pacific Rim, so it's like it feels like maybe like a baby step down from the first movie,
Yeah.
where it's like,
Well, it's like the first movie, but with no actual vision to it. Because
yeah,
like Guillermo del Toro loves like kaiju and giant robots, and you can
Mhm.
tell from that movie because like he makes all of the monsters look horrifying, like coming out of the water,
Yeah.
and like he tried to make it where like all the mechs move like reasonably and they're slow, and
Mhm.
uh, it's taken a lot more serious in the first one, which is like I think the first one was good, but it's just like it's like got such a serious tone, but like all the effects in the world are just silly.
Yeah.
And so like this one, it's more cartoonish and just goofy.
Yeah, like for the third one, it just needs to
Like
meet in the
it feels like
middle.
they're both on equal footing for like character development and like not like the actual writing of the characters, but like the seriousness and like the actual real world attempt stuff is like the same level.
Yeah.
I guess.
I just think for the third one, they needed like meet in the middle
Yeah.
of the like serious, more like scary monsters and stuff, because that
We're going to them.
that's what like interests me about the universe and stuff is like the whole world like lives in this kind of paranoia that there's going to be aliens attacking and stuff, but they don't like, especially in this movie, they don't go into that much. Like I like the idea of, you know, they had these gigantic like cannon guns just in the middle of Sydney to prepare, and like there was like these big bunkers in Japan and stuff where the whole city could go into.
Yeah.
I like all that stuff, but
I like how they like the first one had the guy illegally trading kaiju organs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. And then this one, like I thought it was cool how it opens with like people just scrapping for Jaegers to build their own. Like,
Yeah, that was
there's
interesting.
Cool lore stuff. It's just all the characters are written horribly.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Like the first one feels more like a real movie that's just like okay, and then this one is just like a shitty movie with
good lore.
Shitty movie with good lore.
Which, I mean, now that I think about it, I don't really blame it that much for being bad, because there's like part of me that thinks the director just wanted to make a goofy action movie and didn't care. But that's dumb as well. I don't know.
I love how like the first one is like they're trying, like the Jaegers are like taking effort to like not step on bridges, and they're like trying not to damage too much property. And this one, there's one that's like sprinting, and then he pulls out two swords and just runs them through 3 buildings to look cool.
And then during the final battle, they were literally just throwing buildings at the monster.
Yeah.
They just like use the gravity gun to fling buildings at him.
And then one like it jumps up and then it kicks off of a building to like get a swing, and the building like just some windows shattered, and it's like, no, that's not how that works at all.
Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff where it, like there's some of the robots actually you can kind of tell that they're gigantic. Like I remember when what's it called? Gypsy Danger?
Gypsy Avenger.
Gypsy Avenger. Like,
the old one's Gypsy Danger.
Oh, okay. So Gypsy Avenger like gets hurt or something, and it goes down to like kind of, it falls on the ground and goes to like grab onto a building, but just goes right through the building.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's kind of silly.
And there's a part where he gets uppercutted and he just bashes like through like 3 floors of the building.
Yeah, and he just goes like straight through the buildings.
It's all just like, whoa, that was cool stuff. Like none of it's like, this is smartly done. Yes.
Yeah.
I like the designs for everything.
Yeah, they seem like
kaiju designs were neat.
Yeah, I like the big bad kaiju that morphs into one big bad kaiju. Yeah. Like the design.
Like the effects are still there, but they don't have like that moody lighting and like the rain and stuff to like kind of hit it home. It's just kind of like, here it is.
Which I almost appreciate that, because like all these CGI movies try to like hide their CGI and stuff, but this one just like puts it out in the open.
Well, Pacific, the first one had like more effort put into it because of that though, because they had to get the rain, like they used the rain and like the nighttime to like make the kaiju's harder to see until they were like it was more for like the effect of not knowing the scale of things till they got to the city.
And then this movie is just bright sunny days every battle.
And then the ending where they attach a rocket to the Avengers' arm, and then he flies like Buzz Lightyear into the air, and then it detaches, and they eject out of the mech, and then he punches the kaiju coming down at like Mach 5.
Yeah, which is.
And then the kaiju like has a giant burst of blue energy nuclear wave and explodes.
It blows, and it. I feel like that whole stuff with like Mount Fuji, where it's like, they're all going for Mount Fuji the entire time to get its resources. I feel like there's probably more resources somewhere else.
I thought they were trying to like trigger an eruption.
Oh yeah, well, that might have been it. Because they wanted to trigger an eruption to blow up the entire ring of fire.
Like ridiculous like that.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. But were they trying like make homages to like Godzilla? Because they're in like all the stuff in Tokyo, and it kind of looked like Godzilla at some points. The big monster at the end.
I don't know. I think it's just giant monsters and giant robots should just be in Japan. That's just how it is.
Yeah, fair enough. You don't need to see this. What was it? What does Uprising mean?
I think it's just because, like, the kaiju were uprising. Or maybe it's like the Jaegers are uprising again.
I don't know.
Or, like, they said at the end that they're going to try and go into, like, the other dimension to fight the aliens. Yeah, so maybe we're uprising.
That movie's going to be weird.
We're uprising to meet the challenge?
Oh, does that mean that... John Boyega is going to be in the third one?
Probably. Unless they just kill him off and set it 10 years later. Oh, there's also... They bring back the Asian girl from the first one, but then they kill her off.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything cool. She just dies in a helicopter crash.
Oh, but remember, she sends them that file of the island that looks just like a kaiju head.
Oh, yeah.
That made me laugh as well. I'll have to say, they're like, oh, what does it mean? Is it some kind of symbol? And then
it looks like a kaiju.
And then it
there's gotta be a reason.
And then they have this weird holograph, and it like turns to the side, and you can like see the hills and stuff on it. And it's like, oh, it's an island.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh man.
It kind of reminded me of Bionicles, like that shot when they're all lined up and they're like loading up their weapons.
Yeah.
And like, oh, Bionicles.
Do you remember what was that? Was it Transformers animated, like from like
cartoons?
Yeah. It reminded me of that as well. Because there was that there was that one Jaeger that had like the boulder arm or whatever.
Bulkhead.
Bulkhead, yeah. And I was just like, and he was like green too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of inspiration drawn from across the board.
Do you think they really took inspiration from Transformers animated?
That's a good show.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I rewatched it not too long. Well, I rewatched some of it. It's not too bad.
Man, when's that review coming out?
That show, that's probably one of the only Transformers shows that actually holds up, well written and stuff,
really?
And doesn't feel like an ADD nightmare.
No.
Although all of Transformers is more coherent than Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Do you know how they made Power Rangers?
Isn't it isn't it just like some Japanese show that they took?
Yeah, all the action scenes are just taken from Japan. Yeah. And then they just try to make a story that fits the pacing of those action scenes to just put them in there. And they still do it to this day. Power Rangers is such a huge thing, they could easily just make an American version that doesn't have to be a full-blown movie, but they don't.
Have they ever?
No, I don't think so. They just always rip off from Japan.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It saves a lot of money.
It's true. I thought the when they reveal that the giant or the evil Jaeger is like half kaiju. I thought that was kind of cool. They had like a kaiju brain piloting it.
Yeah. Oh, the troll song.
Oh yeah.
The worst part of the movie.
Yeah, the Trollolo song is in the movie.
And like, was it when they were using the rockets?
They were like launching the battle, and this kid's like, "Hang on, I gotta play a song to calm me down." And then a hologram comes up, and it's
How did he get that hologram as well? Was it from his memories, or I don't know how that all works.
No, I feel like it was just like loading up YouTube is in a car now. It's just in the future you can just load up holograms
in a
Jaeger.
That was awful.
He's like, my grandma used to sing it to me to calm me down. And it's like, wait, his grandma would probably be like our age now.
Yeah.
So she not only did she hold on to the Trollolo song from her childhood into like adulthood, she kept thinking about it until she was an old woman and then trolled her grandson by raising him with the song. That lady's an asshole.
That really pained me.
Yeah, it's like, why? Like, of all the memes, did they do it to just like be like, oh, young people like memes?
That's probably why they did it.
My grandson, 15 years ago, showed me this thing he calls a meme. It's something about a troll. Let's put it in the movie.
And I also don't remember any of the kids, besides like the Russian girl. I don't remember any of the kids that went in there. And they killed one of them. But I don't know which one they killed.
A couple of them, I think.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Didn't they kill the booby kid?
The booby kid?
Yeah, because his dad was like...
Booby?
Yeah.
What?
His dad was like a plastic surgeon, and they always made fun of him. They're like...
I don't
You don't remember that? Because they're like, oh, why did you become a soldier? Or why do you want to be a cadet? You could have just gone with your dad and become a plastic surgeon and work with boobs. You don't remember that?
No.
They mentioned it like 3 or 4 times throughout it. And then when they're walking through the kaiju robot, he like looked up at like all the weird intestines and stuff, and he's like, "Oh man, working with boobs sounds a lot better now."
Nope, I don't even remember.
It was dumb. Whatever. I hate it.
So remember that cringy scene when like basically the setup of the scene is like tough law guy is telling the new roughhousing new guy to the team what to do, and the new guy doesn't care and is too cool with his own business. And the scene is Scott Eastwood trying to explain the drill to John Boyega while John Boyega is making an ice cream sundae. And he's just like constantly adding things to his sundae. He's like, gotta have my sundae, bro. Gotta have my sundae. And he's just being obnoxious about it.
Yeah. It was really dumb.
That was probably the worst. That was probably my least favorite part of the movie. I like Troll a little better.
Yeah, there was a lot of scenes with John Boyega that were like that, though, where you just like...
Just cringe.
Yeah, you just, like, he was trying to be like the rich party kid.
Yeah.
Like, almost, I don't know, like, he's trying to be Chad.
Trying to be Chadwick Boseman.
Man, what they got? What now? If Chadwick Boseman was the main character, that would have made this movie better.
The Virgin Boyega, the Chadwick Boseman. Someone make that meme.
Please do.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
Yeah?
I'd recommend it to anyone who likes giant robots punching things. Wants to laugh at bad writing.
I would say if you want to see like big monsters fighting, just watch like the old Godzillas. Honestly, those are so much more fun.
What if you've already seen those a ton and you just need something new?
Watch them again.
I'd say like people who are fans of the first Pacific Rim, who like it just because of the monsters and stuff, will like this. But I don't think people who like are really invested in like it being taken seriously and like Guillermo del Toro's actual vision for it, this is probably just gonna piss them off.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing artistic about this movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just dumb action schlock.
Yeah, it's like another terrible movie I love is X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh.
Because that's just written horribly, but all the X-Men action and stuff is kind of great.
Yeah.
There's just a giant pyramid comes up and they destroy Auschwitz.
Oh yeah.
Just all the stuff that's like, why? What?
I did actually like Apocalypse enough. I like that movie. Like all the Quicksilver stuff is great.
I would put this a little below Apocalypse. Because Apocalypse has some elements of a good movie, so it doesn't count fully as a shit movie like Battleship does.
Yeah. And Battleship, as much as I hate it and shit on it, I will say that I had a more enjoyable time watching it. Because I think it was me and you who watched it.
Yeah,
and we
forced you to watch it.
We just shat on it the entire time, and it was great. But this movie, it was just...
I feel like a home viewing of Pacific Rim 2 would be pretty good, though. Because we didn't see Battleship in the theater.
That's true. Although, like, I was sitting next to two of our other friends, Christian and Dean. I'm mentioning their names because Christian wants me to mention his name.
Hi, Christian.
Hi, Christian. Dean isn't watching this.
Yeah, Dean's not listening.
All right. But I was just sitting next to him, and all three of us, like, anytime something stupid would happen, we'd just all go...
I'm just sitting there like... I was the one who made everybody go, too.
Yeah.
I was the only one who suggested we see it. I was just like, alright.
I thought it'd be better. I thought they would focus more on, like, action dumb stuff. But there's a lot of, like, downtime in this movie that I didn't like.
I thought they just sped through everything, honestly.
Really?
I don't think they took any time to make anything boring.
I
think when I started getting bored, it would just immediately cut to robots punching things. Or Charlie Day being like, "Yeah, man, in the world, man." The nightmare.
That was... Seeing him as a villain was probably the most shocking thing about this movie. And it's amazing. And, like, he's, like, on top of this... when the big kaiju's rummaging around through Tokyo, and he's just, like, standing on the on the balcony and he's just watching it.
Screen rooftop cheering it on. That's what I'm talking about!
And, like, the big kaiju comes up and, like, looks right at him in his face, and he's just like...
Yeah.
It's
a movie.
It is a movie. Did they ever... So, was the kaiju brain... Did he actually do something with that, or is it just still at his apartment?
I think it's still in his apartment. Except for now he's set. Well, he got arrested. Yeah. So I think they probably confiscated it.
They confiscated his wife.
Like the FBI SWAT, like going through his apartment and just sees this giant brain and like, well, wheel it out. Yes.
Man, I wonder if kaiju human marriage is legal in that universe.
I doubt.
Well, because there's that whole subgroup of like kaiju worshippers. Remember that?
Well, yeah, but they're like rioters. And, yeah, they're
okay.
called. Nobody has access to kaiju brains because that's why the other scientist was like, "You have it." Oh. I don't know how to say that guy's voice. That's basically him. Yeah. Does that wrap it up?
Here, let me give my recommendation. This is probably of all the movies that are out right now. If you were going to go to the theater, go see this movie.
Midnight Sun might be kind of cute.
I don't even know what that is.
I
just saw like
Bella Thorne can't go out in sunlight because she has a skin condition.
Oh.
She
is that
the boy of her dreams?
Is that why all those preteen girls were there? When
we get to the theater and there's all these like middle school girls like swarming the front lobby of the theater, and we're like, they aren't here for Pacific Rim. What came out today?
Yeah. Like I said. Gotta go see a movie in the theater, just go see Pacific Rim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's my only recommendation to it.
But yeah, we'll have to see if Ready Player One can top the king.
Man. These 2 weeks are just gonna send me into a spiraling depression. This is how awful these movies are. I'm gonna have to watch some really good movies on my downtime.
Yeah. I've been having a healthy diet of good movies and shit movies because I watched Pacific Rim Uprising and the next day I watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
You gotta balance it out.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched any movies since, so I probably should.
Yeah, you gotta fix your film intake. A healthier diet.
Okay.
The end.
The end.
Until to be continued.
To be continued? What?
already.